This gentleman stood up, he raised his hand, and he said, "Governor, I need to ask you what your vision is for being commander-in-chief." He said, "Because my wife and I, in 4 months, are sending our son to Iraq, and we want to know." And I was so focused on listening to him. When he got done with this question, I turned and looked to his left, and his wife was sitting next to him, and she was in tears. And at that moment, everybody, I stopped being a candidate for president, and I started to be a father. See, Mary Pat and I have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, 22 and 19, 15 and 12. And I was putting myself into that woman's heart. And I know what she was thinking. The most precious thing in her life, this child that she's nurtured from the time he was in the womb, through infancy and childhood, through young adulthood, she was now handing him over. The most precious thing in her life. She was handing him over to our country, to put him in harm's way, to fight for our values and principles around the world. And I know that feeling has to be overwhelming for that mother and father. The worry they're going to have every minute he's away is going to be overwhelming. And for any parent in this country whose son or daughter goes to war for us, what they want to know is, will the commander-in-chief take care of their child? Will the commander-in-chief understand the nature of their sacrifice? And will the commander-in-chief make the kind of decisions that defines the mission for their child and then backs up that child so they can come home safely after performing that mission successfully? There were 3 veterans sitting in that room, in that same town hall meeting. They had hats on. One said World War II veteran. One said Korea veteran. One said Iraqi freedom veteran. And as I looked at their hats and I was beginning to answer this gentleman's question, what I was thinking was this. Think about the men who send them into war. Franklin Roosevelt and Harry Truman. Harry Truman and Dwight Eisenhower. And George W. Bush. Put aside your politics and whether you agreed or disagreed with everything or anything that those presidents did. We could all agree that those were men of honor and dignity and wisdom and seriousness who took the job of commander-in-chief seriously and understood their responsibility for the people that they sent into battle for our country. So here's what I want you to do tomorrow, because this is what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. When the caucuses start, I want you to think of that mother and father. I want you to pretend that that mother and father are standing on either side of you when you're getting ready to mark your ballot. And I want you to think, if you could say out loud to that mother and father, I truly believe that, fill in the blank, whoever you're voting for, is the best person to be commander-in-chief, that he'll make our country proud and he'll take care of your son. See, because that's what this election is about. That's what it's about. Now, it's been an entertaining election, believe me. I've been entertained myself. I've been on that stage, everybody. There's been stuff said and things done that I never thought I'd see in my entire life. And I have laughed at times as hard as you have. But showtime is over. Showtime is over. It's game time. And when it's game time, you have to have real players on the field to win. We're not electing the entertainer-in-chief. We're electing the commander-in-chief. And I know you're angry at Washington, D.C., and you have every right to be. And so am I. But that anger cannot manifest itself in putting in the position of commander-in-chief someone who you couldn't look in the eye of those parents and tell them that'll be a good commander-in-chief. It's not a good enough excuse for you to say to those parents, I'm voting for someone who won't be a good commander-in-chief, but hell, I'm angry, and that's why I'm voting for this person. That's not good enough. That's a betrayal to that family. And nobody in Iowa wants to betray that family. That family's making the ultimate sacrifice that any family can make. And what we owe them in return tomorrow night is for you to think of them, not how angry you are at Washington, not how funny somebody is, not how rich somebody is. None of that. What you got to think about tomorrow night is who's the most tested, mature, prepared person to be the commander-in-chief of the United States and to care for their son and the sons and daughters of everyone else that we send into this conflict to fight the war on terror, to preserve our values and our principles both here at home and around the world. I offer myself to you as President of the United States because I know I'm ready. You know I've been tested. I am mature. I've faced the challenges. I've stood up to them. I've had good days and I've had bad days, and I've survived through every one of them because I know who I am. I know how to make decisions, and I am unafraid to lead. I am ready to be that family's commander-in-chief, and I need you to help me make it happen.